Welcome to Math Zara.
Today's topic is forming and solving quadratic equations. We'll take a look at two questions today. The first one reads, the triangle below has a base of 2x minus 6 units and an altitude of x plus 2 units. The first question says to write down an expression that represents the area of the triangle. Now, we know that the area of a triangle is 1/2 its base times its height. Now, we could say our base is 2x minus 6, and the height would be x plus 2. Let's plug this in our formula. 1/2 the base, and let's use parentheses to show that we're actually multiplying. 2x minus 6, and the height is x plus 2. And that's our answer for part A. Let's move along to part B. It says show that the expression simplifies to x squared minus x minus 6. So we're actually asked to simplify what we had in part A. So what we could do, we could keep our half, and we're going to FOIL these two expressions. So 2x times x, that's 2x squared. 2x times 2, that's 4x. Negative 6 times x, that's negative 6x. And finally, negative 6 times 2 is negative 12. Let's simplify further. Let's keep our 1/2 outside. Now our two like terms would be our terms in the middle, which are our x terms. So we have 2x squared, 4x minus 6x, that's just negative 2x. The negative 12 stays. Now what we need to do here, we could simply factor out a 2 from each of these terms, which would be 1/2. 2 comes out, and we're left with x squared minus x minus 6. Now 1/2 will cancel the 2 because a half of 2 is 1, and we're left with x squared minus x minus 6, which is what we were actually asked to show for part B. Let's move on to part C. The area of the triangle is 50 square units. Use this information to calculate the value of x. Now, if you notice, we already have the area of the triangle in part B, which is x squared minus x minus 6. So we're going to equate this to the 50 for the area. Now, if you notice, this is a quadratic equation, but it's not of the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So we're going to rewrite it by subtracting 50 from both sides, which would be x squared minus x minus 6 minus 50 equals 0, which simplifies to x squared minus x minus 56 equals 0. Now we could factorize this quadratic, but what we need here is two numbers that we would multiply to negative 56 and add to negative 1. If you notice, this is a negative 1x, which is the coefficient of our middle term, our b term. Now, we need two numbers that are actually 1 unit apart. So some factors of 56 would be, of course, 1 and 56. Two and 28. 4 and 14. And of course, 7 and 8. No, the only one that's actually 1 unit apart, or the pair that's 1 unit apart, would be 7 and 8. But if you notice, we need a negative 1. So a little rule, if the middle term is negative and the end term is negative, the larger factor should be negative in order for us to have a negative 1. We have x squared plus 7x minus 8x minus 56. Now, we use this method because it's much safer in case we have a coefficient of x squared. So factor in, we have x into x plus 7, negative 8 into x plus 7. And our two factors here would be x minus 8 and x plus 7. Now we're asked to solve this equation. So let's go over this side. Let's erase all this. Let's apply the zero property, which says x minus 8 equals 0, or x plus 7 equals 0. So from this, x would be positive 8 and negative 7. Now, since we're working with measurements, we need to discard our negative. Let's put the word discard right here. And that's our solution for part C. Now for part D. It says, hence, determine the altitude of the triangle. Now the altitude is our height. From here, we see that the height is actually x plus 2. And we know that our x value, so let's write it down, the altitude. Altitude, which is x plus 2. We know that our x value is 8, not negative 7. So that's 8 plus 2, which gives us 10 units. And that brings us to the end of this problem. In our second question, the diagram shows PQRS, which is a trapezium with PS 8 minus x, QR 2x minus 5, and the height is 2x minus 4. Now the area for a trapezium is 1/2 times the sum of the parallel sides times its height. Now the parallel sides would be PS, which would be A, and QR, which would be B, and we'll take this perpendicular height as h. Let us substitute these values in our formula. 1/2 times the sum of A and B, which would be 8 minus x, plus 2x minus 5, and we're multiplying by the height, which is 2x minus 4. We'll put that in parentheses. Let us simplify this by grouping our like terms. We'll take 2x with the negative x and the 8 with minus 5. And we'll keep the 2x minus 4 at the end. 2x minus x, that's x, plus 3, and that's 2x minus 4. Let's take a look at part B. Show that it simplifies to x squared plus x minus 6. What we could do here is to first factor a 2 from the second part of this expression, which would be 1/2 times 2 x plus 3. And if we factor a 2 from 2x minus 4, we're left with x minus 2. If you notice, we could simplify 1/2 into 2, which gives us just 1. So we're left with x plus 3 and x minus 2. We could simply FOIL this expression, which would be x times x squared, x times 2, negative 2x, 3 times x, and of course 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Finally, if we simplify this expression, negative 2x plus 3x, that's just a positive x minus 6, which is what we were asked to show in part B. Let's take a look at part C. We were told that the area of the trapezium is 36. So let us equate the area that we've just found in part B to 36. Again, we must write this as ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So we will subtract 36 from both sides of this equation. So that would be x squared plus x minus 42 equals 0. We're asked to solve this equation. Again, we need to find two numbers that we multiply to 42 and add to a positive 1, since this is 1x. In the previous example, we found all the factors. Now we could see we need two factors that gives us a positive 1. Let's use 7 and 6. Now, if the middle term is positive and the end term is negative, the smaller factor will be negative. So factorizing this expression gives us x plus 7 and x minus 6. We could use this short method since there's no, well, the coefficient of x squared is 1. Let's take this over here. Using the 0 property, x equals 0 and x equals, well, x plus 7 equals 0 and x minus 6 equals 0. X would be negative 7, and of course, x would be positive 6. That's the end of part C. However, we need to discard our negative value. Always write discard since it's a negative value and we're concentrating on measurements here. Now for part D. Now, we're asked to find the height of the trapezium. Let's take a look at the question. Now, the height is 2x minus 4. Let's go and write it. 2x minus 4, which is our height. And we know that our x value is the positive 6. So 2 times 6 minus 4. That's 12 minus 4, which gives us 8. And this is our height. Our units, of course, were not mentioned. So actually, they were mentioned. So it's 8 centimeters. And this is our final answer.